adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest that has some badass music, and so let's welcome to the show, Horror Scene.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to have you, and so what I love about your music is not only the appearance-wise, I do love, like, you know, people that go way above the Call of Duty when it comes to creativity. Anybody can just get up there and just play and stand still, but it takes a whole nother level to give a performance, because that's what a live show is, a performance, for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, but I also love even more that your music, I talk about this all the time too, it blends genres. Like, to me, the best bands nowadays, especially in the metal area, is when they blend all types of metal genres or other genres, because if you're only very specific, like they have these genres that are so stupidly specific, that it's, you know, the music is just formulas at that point. There's like no uniqueness about it. So it does, you know, they used to say when in the 80s that it all sounded the same, but it didn't. Now the people I argued with about that, I'm like, yeah, you're right. It does kind of sound all the same. You know, the ones now, not then. But right, then bands like you don't, because you are bringing other influences in. And it's not just, oh, we can only do this type of metal, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your creative process and how things work with the band on blending these genres and bringing everything together to make Horror Scene.
I mean, our process is pretty easy, for the most part. Like, somebody will come up with a guitar riff, and everybody will just kind of work off of that. And sometimes, like, we'll come up with a chorus, a pre-chorus, get the verse down, and then sometimes while we're putting things together, like, hey, what we played here in the verse is cool, but it doesn't really fit this. Let's pull that out, but we can use that somewhere else. And that's pretty much how that all works. Like, you know, we'll just blend it all together, and then, you know, using the keys and synth and that techno and dance stuff that we throw in there. It's just fun, like, meshing everything together.
I like the keyword fun, because if you're a musician and you're not having fun, this is the wrong industry, because a lot of it is a bunch of shit. So if you're not having fun in the creative process,
right,
where are you having fun?
Absolutely.
So I love that.
Yeah.
What was that moment in time that you thought to yourself, this is what I need to do? Like, what was that one thing that hooked you in when you were young?
Music in general. You know, growing up, my parents listening to, you know, Billy Joel and Elton John, you know, bands like that. And like, I was always fascinated with how music just came together. So, you know, as a young kid, I started out playing violin, then I went to trombone, and then I turned to drums, and I haven't moved back since. So yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, that aha moment, if you will, I was started at a very, very young age. It's just the whole creative process behind it is what really latched me onto it.
I love hearing that you went from trombone to drums. And I say that because, you know, like, I was in school band, school orchestra. I played drums for 10 years. So I was in the percussion of the orchestra, and I played everything in percussion. And then I used to look over at the other kids that were playing trumpet and trombone. I'm like, I might want to try that. That looks pretty cool. So it's kind of cool that you went the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's oddly enough, though, when I went to trombone, I forget what grade that was. I want to say 6th or 7th grade, when we were allowed to, like, pick an instrument. I initially wanted to start out on drums, but the music teacher that we had at the time was like, I have too many drummers. Here, why don't you try trombone? So it wasn't even like anything I even wanted to do.
Sometimes that's how you find your path though, right?
Oh, for sure. I will say one thing though. Going to a brass instrument like the trombone. Like my favorite clef out of bass and treble is bass. I love bass clef. All the low
Nice.
end stuff. Yeah.
Nice. And it's funny because I think I've changed throughout the years because I've always been like like when I'd listen to music younger, I would like put the treble up to the max. And I didn't care as much about the bass as the treble. And
Right.
now I'm kind of like, no, I like it more balanced now. And I've
Right.
even, it's funny. I go and I do, radio coverage at music festivals all over the US, UK, Europe, and I never wear earplugs. Like, I don't like them. I don't want, I don't, and I think it makes the music worse. And I've stood up against Motorhead's speakers
Nice.
with my ear up to it, and like I still hear pretty well, so I'm okay at this
Yeah.
point. But there was one festival, I can't remember what it was, but one band I've like thousands and thousands of sets I've been to that the treble actually hurt my ears. I was up
Mm.
in the photo pit, and they had that treble so high that I literally my ears were in pain, and that never happens to me. Like I could be up there in the photo pit or anywhere close. I could stand right next to a speaker. It doesn't bother me at all. But
Yeah.
so maybe that is a thing that like maybe over time your ears get more sensitive to the treble than the bass. Because I don't think the bass really affects your ears the same way a treble does.
No, probably not. Because I mean, treble. That's all your high end, like all the high end stuff, and at least mids and bass. That's all. Obviously your lower end things, but yeah, I just always, like I said, doing trombone, I just always loved the bass clef. After that, because for me, like I like to feel everything.
Yeah,
So
totally.
like especially if bands use like 808 drops. I love that. I love all of that. Like especially if it's timed right, like if they hit like a floor tom or something at the same time in 808 drops. I love how that meshes up.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I was with a concert during the summer that I brought my brother, and all he was complaining the whole time is because the bass was like beating in his chest, and I had the exact opposite feeling. I'm like, man, I love it. Feels good. It feels like I'm part of the music,
How about it? Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So, what was it that made you turn to, a lot of us metalheads are into horror and stuff, but what made you turn to combining those two loves into one?
So when this band first started, we were actually operating under a different name when this band first started. We were called Suicide Puppets. Up until recently, I want to say about 4 or 5 months ago, did we do a whole rebrand to Horror Scene. Now, even under Suicide Puppets, everything was still horror related. Murder, killing, death, fun stuff like that. As far as our lyrics go, it's just one of those things. Like us as a band, it just made sense. Like we all loved horror, we all loved metal, we all loved industrial metal, and we just kind of like smashed everything together. Be like, this is who we're gonna be because this is everything that we love.
I love it. And it's so funny you said what you did because okay, before you, I did my live show, and then before that, I did another interview, and that band did a whole rebranding. So today's the day of rebranding. But listen, the most successful rebranding of all time was Black Sabbath. They were originally Earth, and then like, could you imagine if they were still called Earth? I don't think they would be as relevant today. Nobody would care.
Probably not. Yeah, I mean, well, the rebrand was almost out of necessity as well. Because
Yeah.
with Suicide in our band name, we were getting smashed in algorithms. Google wouldn't even let us advertise anymore, so we had to do a rebrand.
Wow.
But you're right. I think this name fits us a little bit better. Plus we have like I think there's 8 films right now that are two of them are out, but the other 6 are in post production that features our music, and they're all horror films, so it works out.
So I think what we need in 2026 or 2027 is a tour of Zombie, Ice Nine Kills, and you guys.
I am 1000% on board with that idea.
Right, right. Oh man, but I do love, like I said in the beginning, having it combined. Like people that are haters on that. Like I'm old school from the '80s, so a lot of my old school metalhead friends are like, "I hate the band's putting a mess today. It's stupid." And I'm like, no, I think it's kind of cool, man. It just makes for a better show. And I've even thought about myself. Okay, so I thought about myself because I've interviewed a bunch of people that wear masks or makeup, and then when I see them without it, I'm like, oh, well, that's why you do that. So I'm like, I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm 59 years old. You know, I could wear a mask, start a band, and just get really big like Sleep Token and take my mask off and say, haha, fuckers, I'm 60 years old.
That's the beauty behind it, though. Like, like you said, like when we initially when we started out, we didn't do any of the face paint and all that other stuff, and of course, like sometimes when we run ads, like recently, we were running an ad because we dropped a single back on January 2nd, a song called "Yeah You," and we had run an ad for it because our song previous to that, "Welcome to Your Hell," reached number 16 on the Metal Contraband Top 50 Metal charts. So we were kind of promoting to it at one shot. Said, hey, chart climbing metal band, whatever. I forget how it was worded at this point. And it was sent out there, and like you should have seen the hate comments, like, "Oh, gimmicky band, it's already been done," blah blah blah. It's like I never understood that. Like, if you don't like something, that's fine, but like, what really compels you to like just throw so
Oh,
much hate? You know what I mean?
yeah, listen, most of my show today, my live show, was about how ridiculous people are being with the Bad Bunny thing at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Set aside the politics or any of that shit. Like, what do you care? Then tune out. Don't watch the 15 minutes of the halftime show. Like, who give? Like, there's plenty of halftime shows that I didn't want to watch. I don't care. It didn't bother me enough to throw hate. It's like, so what? Switch to something else. They had all these alternatives. So go watch that alternative. Who cares?
yeah,
But
yeah,
like, I don't know why it's such a big deal. Like, it's stupid that everything's getting to be such a big deal and music should be such a big deal. My other peeve is like where they say people that are musicians shouldn't have a voice. It's the exact opposite, morons. That's just what I'm going to say. Like, of course they should have a voice. They are also people that can exercise freedom of speech. And if they want to speak their mind about things, that's their prerogative. All music since the beginning of time that wasn't pop music did that, like
yeah,
rock has always done that, spoke up about things, you don't have to agree with it. Don't listen, you don't like it.
yeah.
To your point, I don't get why people waste their breath with hate. Like, if you hate it, I'm cool. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
What are you gonna do?
But I think no matter what you do, you're going to get it. I see it with the festivals too. We went for 2 years with no live music.
Right.
Festivals came back. I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great because all those people that were bitching all the time won't be bitching anymore because they just realize what it's like to not have live music.
Yeah.
They're still bitching. Like, it just blows my mind. What I love the ones that when they're going to a festival and one band drops out for whatever reason, they're like, oh, that's the only reason I was going to the festival. Well, that's a stupid idea. Go to their concert then. I go to festivals to discover new music. Like, they
Yeah.
don't play their regular set at a festival. If you're only going for one band, go to their concert. You'll be better off.
Yeah. How about? And that's an expensive ticket for one band if you think about it. You know what I mean?
No doubt. And like, why would you miss other bands? How would you know about the one band you're going to see if you didn't see them for the first time?
Yeah,
Like, some of
exactly.
my favorite bands, I didn't know who they were. And that's the way it was in the 80s too. Like, that's where stuff like what you're doing with all the entertainment performance part of it, it's like, listen, we couldn't hear music before we bought it. So we went by the album cover.
Yep.
And gigs. I remember the first club gig I ever went to. My dad moved me from New Jersey to LA in 1980, if you can imagine a time to move to LA. Okay. And so I saw this ad for this band playing at the Roxy on the Sunset Strip. I had never been to a club show ever. And I went just because of the way they looked. Now, this was before they ever had an album. So they were kind of like horror punk at the time. And that was Motley Crue.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I remember going to that show. I'm like, I'm never going to a real concert again. Because to me, the real concerts were boring. This was exciting. There was a lot of stuff going on and a lot of performance and all that, you know? And then the second club show I ever did, similar type of scenario. I saw this ad in Bam magazine, and the headliner, their picture was there, and it was Wasp. It was Wasp, okay. Armored Saint, and this band Headshaker. I mean, to this day, I'm friends with the bands from Armored Saint but I mean, that just totally turned me. Those things totally turned me into a metalhead. Like, I liked metal before that.
Yeah.
But those live experiences like you produce are what got me into it. There's one band that plays at festivals all the press people make fun of because they only just stand there and play, and we all call them the most boring band live ever. And if that's what I experience, a band like that, maybe I wouldn't be a metalhead today.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's supposed to be like a show.
Yeah, it's even as a musician, dude, if you're up there just standing around like and you look bored, it's like, are you even enjoying what you're doing?
Right.
Like, when I'm behind the kit, you know, I'm moving around, flinging things around, and I'm having fun, and it should be fun.
And you know what? A lot of people throw hate towards Lars, and he always looks like he's having fun. You know? So, okay, you know, and he was right about, you know, Napster. So,
oh yeah,
everybody gave him hate for that. So I'd say just let people be people, express themselves. That's what being an artist is expressing yourself the way you want to express, and you'll collect your tribe, you know, the people that like it, you know. Again, I don't get wasting time. You don't like something, listen to something else, period. You know, watch something else. Okay. So what else do you have on the horizon here for 2026?
Well, we have more releases coming out. So we started working with a notable producer named Dan Mausch. Dan Mausch has produced bands like Ghost, Gojira, Avenged Sevenfold, Dorpesh, you know, small little metal bands. And he started working with us last year. So we're going back up to his studio at the end of March, so next month. And we actually have another single dropping the same time that we're going into the studio. We're trying to get things geared up. More than likely, either an EP or an LP is going to be dropping this year. We are currently working on a tour for the month of around August timeframe is what we're looking at. So we do have a festival coming up in March. That's March. I think it's March 6th or March 9th. It's Inked and Loud at the York Fairgrounds in York, Pennsylvania. And I think as of right now, that's kind of where we're sitting on things. But we are doing a lot of writing and whatnot. So there's a lot of other things like moving parts going on behind the scenes. So yeah, but I mean, there's a lot coming this year for sure.
So here's what I want to know too, that I think I already know the answer. Okay, so when you put on the makeup and get all dressed up for your live show, is it almost like you go into a transformation and become the musician? It's kind of like me. Like, as soon as the mic turns on, there's a switch in my head that radio personality comes out, you know, like automatically. I don't even think about it. Do you think that's the case when you're like in those costumes, in the makeup, like you transform and like kind of be that entity, so to speak?
I would say yes, yeah, because we all have different stage names. Like, mine's Veritas, our drummer. I am the drummer. Our lead singer, he goes by Twisty. Our bass player goes by Johnny. We have 3 guitar players, Steven, Invictus, and Z. So we all have stage names. So yeah, absolutely. As soon as like the makeup goes on and whatnot, like we become that persona. We embody who that individual is. Another good point about putting on makeup and whatnot is like if you're like especially when it comes to local shows, like if we're standing around, even if we're not next to each other, you know that we are together as a band.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
totally.
So that's another reason why we do the makeup. But yeah, 100%. Yeah, we definitely become our personas once the makeup comes on.
Well, it's like me. My radio moniker persona is Pipeman, and there is a different persona to it. Like part of it is real me, and part of it is the alter ego me. But it is so funny that even my kids sometimes now will call me Pipeman, and then Alexa calls me Pipeman all the time. So that's always funny.
Nice.
But how do people reach out to you? On socials, on the web, buy your merch, all that good stuff.
So your best bet is just go to our link tree, which is Horsine, Horsine Band, I believe. You can go to our .com, which is horsineband.com, which that'll be your gateway to everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Our merch site is a different site, but you can still get there from our main band page. So puppetmerch.com is where you can purchase all of your horror scene gear. We recently just got new hoodies in, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, I don't have any with me to show you, but it's basically just has the logo on the front of the hoodie. It's pretty cool.
Nice. I bet you have some badass merch, and people can't like listen to my show anymore unless they buy your merch. Well, people
we have
don't
some
realize
interesting items to say the least. Some of them my wife came up with. We have these like little voodoo dolls that come with their own pins and needles and stuff. We have something that's called the Serial Killer Archives, which is a box that's filled with like that kinetic sand stuff. And inside the kinetic sand, we have these USB. I actually have one here. Unfortunately, I don't have the bottom on it, but we have these USBs that look like coffins.
Oh wow, that's cool.
It has the old band name on it, but it's got 2 full albums on it. But when you open up the box, there's a shovel in there and a headstone. You have to dig the USB out of the dirt.
See, that's creativity. Like that brings me back because I think it's stuff like that kids are missing out nowadays with albums. You know, because like I remember being a kid and buying Love Gun. And that was when the popper things in school were very popular. You would make these paper popper things.
Yeah.
And so they made Kiss made a Love Gun that was one of those poppers, but it was the Kiss Love Gun. And, of course, you could get in trouble in school because you were using it in school. And, but I used to love, like, I'd buy albums and there would be gifts in there sometimes, or like, I got really into the Beatles because of the 1969 radio show that Paul McCartney was dead, and you had to buy all the albums to get the clues. So I bought every Beatles album to check out the clues and play the album backwards and all that stuff. Kids don't get to do that cool stuff anymore,
How about it? Oh,
Right?
I even remember when I was like a kid in the 90s, when CDs became a thing. Like half the fun was buying the CD of your favorite band or whatever, and then there would be like hidden tracks on it.
Yeah, totally. Or like that when Motley Crue came out with the first album, there were only like, I think there were only like 30 copies of the original, which had a real zipper on the cover, like a real working zipper. Like you see it in the picture now, but actually, and it was like, wow, that's so cool to have that, and
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I remember one of Tool's CDs had like a magnifying glass. It had like it was, I forget which album, but it was black. I still have it. Black, folds over, and it had like a little magnifying glass in the CD cover.
Huh.
It was wild. So like, I think we need to go back to that. It's kind of like if you had Happy Meals at McDonald's without toys. It's not as much fun.
Yeah, yeah, and it's weird though too, because like even when this band first started, we still would have physical copies of things. But now when we buy physical copies of things, we buy like way less now, because with all the digital age that we're in, everybody just goes, they'll stream it right away, or they'll just get it off of iTunes, this, that, or the other. But like we did vinyl recently for our last EP, no, 2 EPs ago, Beyond the Veil, and I mean we sold quite a bit because there's a big resurgence in vinyl, which is kind of cool. But we're still sitting on media, just sitting on it. Nobody
Yeah.
buys it's hard, man.
Yeah, it is. And, what's interesting about vinyl now, I just found this out recently. I was taking my granddaughter to get a holiday gift, and she wanted a record album. Like 2 of my grandkids are total record collectors. So I think
Nice.
that's so cool. And I remember looking at the price, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It was like $36 for an album.
Yeah.
I still have albums that still have the price tag on them at home at say like $2.99 for like something. I have an album by Death that was $2.99. Like I've exploited albums that were like $2 and
Nice.
$3, stuff like that. I think I have a Bathory album that was 99 cents.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not finding that anymore.
right? Exactly. And I bought them because, listen, you couldn't hear what it sounded like. It was like, okay, for 99 cents, for $2, I don't give a crap if I don't like it, and the album looks cool.
You're right.
Like,
Yeah.
would you do that today? Would a kid go buy a $30 album with not knowing what it sounded like? I don't even know how they go to gigs today, to be honest. Like, I went to see Metallica where I paid $2 for a ticket and $5 for a shirt. Like, I don't know how kids can even go to a show today.
Yeah, I mean, ticket prices are pretty high. Yeah, and merch nowadays. I mean,
I'm all for the merch though, because it's the only way you guys make money. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize that. So I make a big deal about it. I was joking about not listening, but I wasn't really either, because it's like, it's the only way you guys make money. The days of the rock star getting these massive amounts of money and drugs is totally over. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have to work your ass off. Okay. And I just think, you guys deserve to make a living. You're working hard. And when people say, oh, they should just blah, blah, do you work for free is what I say to them. Like,
Yeah.
it is what you need to make a living. So support bands, buy their merch, especially horror scene. Cause again, can't listen to my show unless you buy their merch, and they probably have cool ass merch that you're going to love forever. So just get it.
Right. We have coffin keychains too. I mean, who doesn't want a coffin keychain?
Exactly. That's beautiful. I love it. Well, thanks a lot for giving us great music, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me on. It's been fun.
My pleasure. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.